What up, YouTube? It's Matty B. Welcome back to the channel. Really appreciate y'all tuning in. Today, we're going to do a little track preview for round 9 of Supercross in Daytona, Florida at Daytona International Speedway. And this is going to be the most unique track of the year. Obviously, they got a lot more room to play with, a lot of variety in different sections, some outdoor aspects, and all around, it's just going to be a gnarly one for sure. And speaking of gnarly, before I get any further in this video, I want to point you guys in the direction of this GoFundMe for Swap Moto Live's Chase Curtis. He was injured after being hit by a wayward machine at the Dallas Supercross. And it was a total accident. The dude did nothing wrong and he got smoked. So prayers up to Chase. He's got a long recovery ahead. And if you guys have anything to spare, I'm sure he would really appreciate it. I know it's getting more and more expensive to be alive by the day, but anything would help for sure. And also, I got a new channel sponsor, quickmoto.com. If you're looking for 20% off on a Titty City set of graphics and look no further than the discount code on screen, use that to save, free of all choice, of course. Now we'll go ahead and get into a track preview for this Daytona course, designed by the GOAT, as always. And also, we'll get into some predictions and what I think is going to go down this weekend at the end of the video. But what the hell do I know? It ain't all about me. I want to hear what you guys think also, so make sure y'all let me know your predictions and what you think is going to go down in the comments. But I think RC's whipped up a good one for us. We got a gnarly chicane sand section, the longest straightaway I've ever seen on a Supercross track. Nice set of whoops, some good rhythms, and we all know how much the track tends to break down at Daytona, so this should definitely be the gnarliest one of the year. I am very excited for it. And one of the first interesting aspects of this track starts with the start right in the middle of the track for all the fans to see. We got a right-handed first turn with a little bit of grass thrown in there, so we've seen some chaos in the past with the grass start, although it is clay once you get down to turn 1, but the grass is right where everybody's braking zone is going to be, so should be interesting regardless. But out of turn 1 it shoots you off in between a few lanes, and then out of turn 2 is a very long rhythm section. And wow, we got combos for days in this one. I would be here until next week if I rattled off all the combos that would be possible through this section, but if I had to guess a few of them that might be likely: double in, triple onto the tabletop, step off, triple, and then triple single, maybe a quad out. Or maybe if you could get the triple in, then you could go triple, and then maybe a quad, triple, or another quad, and then triple out, maybe triple in, then step over that tabletop, triple, triple, double out. And as a fan, I love the sections like this, that they're able to utilize the excessive space that Daytona has compared to the stadiums and make a section like this where there's just countless options. So I love that. I think it's going to be fun to watch the different combos that everybody does. But as far as the riders go, one thing I'd be a little concerned with is a rhythm section this long right after the start could be sketchy. We all know when everybody's in a pack like that, it only takes one guy cross-rutting a little bit for chaos to unfold. So I'm hoping we don't see it, but there's a chance we do. As you head out of what is surely the longest rhythm section of the season into a 180 bowl turn to the left, and then you head into what I believe is the longest straightaway I've ever seen in Supercross. So long I had to zoom all the way out just to show you the straightaway in its entirety. But I don't believe we've ever seen a full-length straightaway all the way along the tarmac at Daytona. That's going to give the fans so much real estate to run out onto the track before the main is over. Just kidding, everyone. I don't see that happening again. But the beginning of the straightaway that never ends starts with some outdoor style rollers, and one thing to think about here at Daytona is more than likely they're going to get choppy, maybe some potholes down in between the pockets. So being that a lot of these obstacles are going to require Supercross suspension, that's really going to throw a wrench in the bike setup. So expect to see some guys scratching their heads for sure during qualifying. Out of those 5 rollers, I know we're all bummed we don't get to see Tomac tap across those things on the back tire into what looks like a double-double. The first one's just standard, nice big face, nice big landing. The second one almost looks like it has more of a wall jump face with a really small landing. So I feel like that's been put there to try to slow these guys down before they shoot back across this clay section of the first turn. And we aren't even halfway done with this straightaway yet. Across the first turn, into a little speed check roller into the finish line, into 5 more outdoor style rollers, and then a speed check wall jump, slow everyone right down. Land the wall jump, and then you're finally into the final part of this straightaway, the whoops, a nice clay set. And I feel like they're always spread apart a little bit further in Daytona than they are the rest of the season, so that throws an extra element into it. And I really don't love the fact that the wall jumps right before the whoops. As a fan, I like to see entry speed rewarded for those who have the balls to do it, but with the wall jump right in front of it, you're going to be able to go into those things wide open and not have anything crazy as far as speed's concerned. So I think that's going to make a jump line a lot more viable. Justin Cooper, we're looking at you, brother. Out of the whoops and into another 180 left. And one other thing to think about here in Daytona, the bowl turns I don't think are usually built the tallest, but it's so soft and sandy. You're going to see a lot more rutted corners here compared to usual, so the berms might not even be relevant once the ruts get worn in. Out of that 180 left, and then you're into what looks like it's going to be a pretty simple rhythm section. I'm thinking triple, triple, and then jump into the sand looks pretty likely. If the triple end's not possible, then it'll for sure be a 2-3-2. And as you come out of one of the more basic sections of the track, then you go into what I think is going to be the most difficult section of the track. If you guys remember, the Daytona sand sections kind of remind me of Tampa. They're straight up beach sand, very deep, and this year they've got the sand section as a chicane with tons of roll rollers, moguls, I don't even know what you want to call it, but I have a feeling this one's going to be claiming victims for sure. And again, like I talked about with Supercross suspension, this is going to be even 10 times harder to go through than it should be. Heading out of the sand, I think this is going to prove to be super technical because right as the sand ends, you get a little triple on top of a plateau into the corner, or maybe a double single to the inside. I don't see much of a berm up there on the plateau, so unfortunately I don't think tripling on top of that is going to be rewarded, but it's going to be really technical trying to place your front end in the right spot to be able to pop to get that jump out once you hit the clay. But you step up onto the elevated corner, then you drop back down. It looks like a little triple into some grass. It would be cool to see the outside of that little drop off have a lip on it, so maybe you could go outside and double, just have some different options, but it doesn't look like the track map has that on there. Then you're across the grass into another 180 left, and then you're into this rhythm section, which is a smaller version of what they had here last year, which I really liked because depending on how you hit the rhythm section, you could either launch that ski jump out across the start, or you could hit the last jump in the rhythm and jump over it. If I had to take a Denny Stevenson stab at guessing what the rhythm's going to be through here, I would think triple out of the corner, then triple again, and then maybe step up over the ski jump. Another option could be double in, then triple over the tall one, and then double launch the ski jump out across the start. After the ski jump, you rip across the grass part of the start straightaway, and then I really liked this last year as well. They had this same section, a really big split lane, inside-outside split across the start, and in the past, they've done a great job making it really even, so this was a great place for passing last year, and it made it really interesting because the track breaks down so much, so each lane has its own respective gnarly ruts and sketchy characteristics, so it's always fun to see people go in around the same place and see where they come out. Finally getting towards the end of a lap here, it's going to be a long lap time for sure, but out of the split lane, then you jump a double across the start straight, which should be cool. Land in some grass, cover the inside if someone's on your ass, no choice. And then we got 4 more outdoor style rollers headed into this corner, so we might see some double wheel tap action, maybe just double. These are probably going to get beat up as well. Into yet another right-handed 180 bullet turn. I didn't even think they knew about right-handed turns at Daytona. But then our final obstacle, a basic standard Supercross triple into a left 180, right back into that gnarly long first rhythm section right off the start. And that is a lap at Daytona International Speedway. It's going to be a long track, going to be a technical track, and it's going to be a very rutted and beat up track for sure. It's definitely going to be what I would think is the gnarliest of the season, especially by the time they get to that 20-minute main at the end of the night. I don't predict it to be quite as mental as last year. There was a lot of rain leading up to the race last year, and it was just next level, insanely rutted out there, so I think it'll be a step below that, but it'll still for sure separate the men from the boys like it always does. And I'm really excited for the change up just to watch something a little bit different than the tight confines of the stadiums. It's still Supercross, but it's for sure a different experience to watch, so I'm looking forward to it. Now let's get into some predictions for the weekend, starting with the 450 class, the hot topic of the week after what Sexton did last weekend, and he's who I have for the win. He was really good in Daytona last year. If you remember, the top 3 battle for the win was Jet, Eli, and Chase, and Jet and Eli are out, so basic logic, that would put Chase up front. So I've got Chase sealing the deal this weekend. Then in the second spot, I've got Rocks, and he'll kickstart it to the silver. And I think this is going to be a good track for Kenny. Just the outdoor aspects and kind of the hybrid style nature of the track, I think is good for him. I think he's really going to give Chase a good challenge for the win, but I just have Chase edging him out. And then in the third spot, I've got Cooper Webb. I think those top 2 just have a little bit more on them on this style of track. I think Cooper thrives when it's a little smaller of a track, when he can turn down tight, and this is definitely not that, so I've got Webb rounding out the podium in the third spot, and that will effectively tie this 450 championship right back up, so the season's really heating up. It's only getting better. And one more prediction, I think we're going to have a good weekend out of AP, the Cowboy. He's a speedway rider. I've got him in the 4th spot, and that's exactly what he would need to get this season back on track, so if any of those top 3 that I picked falter, maybe we'll see the Cowboy on the box. The fans will love it. Blow the non-existent roof off of Daytona. Now we'll switch gears onto the 250 class, back East Coast this weekend. And for the win, I'm picking Max Anstey. I think he's going to get some redemption after getting robbed by that red flag and the restart at the last round they had. I think he's going to use that anger as some fuel and motivation to just go out and smash these guys. And I also think this track's really going to suit him as well. So I've got Anstey for the win. In the second spot, I've got Kitchen. I really think Kitchen and Anstey are the 2 best riders in the field. So maybe we'll see a Max Anstey Levi Kitchen battle for the win down the stretch. And then in the third spot, I've got Tom Vial. He's been consistent slow start to the season, but this round I think is going to be really good for him. He won it last year. He's better outdoors, and we know it's going to get rough and broken down like an outdoor would, so I really think this is going to be Tom Vial's chance to get himself back on the box. Honorable mention to RJ Hampshire. I really have a hard time leaving him off the podium, but I just think the way this track gets, we may see Rick get loose, we may not, I don't know, but I'll be very happy to be proven wrong. I love being proven wrong by people when they do good, not when they do bad, though. We don't want to want to see that. And two more people I think that are coming in under the radar that could be guys to watch out for in Daytona. One is Chance Hymas. Been so impressed with him in his start to the season after having only 4 days on the bike heading into the first round. But he's been really good, and we all know what he did last year outdoors. He was a lot better, so this could be his chance to put a surprise podium on the board. And then also Seth Hamaker had a bad round last time out because he was sick. Him and his teammates got food poisoning, but he's going to be really good as well. So either way, going to be a toss-up. I think there's 7, 8, 9 guys that I wouldn't be surprised to see on the podium in this 250 East class. But yeah, that's it for today's video. Really looking forward to seeing how everything unfolds this weekend for round 9 in Daytona. I'm planning on attending this weekend. Unfortunately, not really much I can bring you guys as far as content. I tried to get a media credential, but got denied. Not much I can do about it, so it is what it is. But we should be there. We'll be there for Supercross. We'll be there for Arena Cross. We'll be there for everything. So I'll bring you guys what I can. It's going to be pretty limited, but we can only do what we can do. But appreciate you guys tuning in. Can't wait for the weekend. We're out.